You're on the clock with Tyler Jennings and Jared Perkins, a Prospects Live podcast for everything MLB Draft related. Join us as we discuss the biggest stories from college and high school baseball, bring you interviews from your favorite draft prospects, and break down live looks with Prospects Live analysis across the nation. Get ready, because you're on the clock with Tyler Jennings and Jared Perkins.
Alrighty, welcome to another episode of On the Clock, powered by Prospects Live. I'm Jared Perkins. That's Tyler Jennings. We are back after the holidays. What a time. We haven't seen you all since the mock draft we had, back in early December. So we're ready to be back, ready to bring you some cool interviews. We're really close to the college baseball season, the high school baseball season. So things are going to get kicked off here soon. We'll be going once a week once the college baseball season starts. But Tyler, how are you doing? How are your holidays?
I've had better holidays. I mean, you had it way better because you're on a honeymoon in Costa Rica. So
I avoided all family. It was fun. Good times.
Must be nice.
Hopefully they don't watch this episode.
or they can, and you can deal with the angry text afterwards. But,
yeah.
You don't care because you're in Costa Rica.
It's great. It's beautiful. Monkeys just hanging out in my pool. It was cool.
Did you share a beer with one?
No, I didn't. They did stare at me, though, while I drank a beer. It was really weird.
Are you sure they weren't drunk?
It could have been. You just never know. They're monkeys.
I
saw some sloths, saw some macaws, saw some lot of animals. It's a good time.
It was better than
80 degrees, and then I came back to Maryland, and it was like 35, and I had shorts on. So that was a good time.
That's a rookie mistake from a guy that is from a cold weather state, essentially.
But I was like, what else am I going to do? I don't want to pack pair of pants and jacket to Costa Rica.
No, that's fair. I mean, I can't say anything. Like, I went to New York in March. It was like 70 down here in Raleigh whenever I flew out at like 6 a.m. in the morning. Get to Syracuse, and it's like 35, and there's a foot of snow on the ground, and I was wearing a t-shirt and shorts. So,
what's the coldest weather you've had for a first game of the college season?
Probably have to be Vandy, Oklahoma State, 2022. That was, granted, my hotel was only like a quarter mile away, so I just walked there and back. But there is no sun at all in the behind home plate at that field.
Yeah,
beautiful field, by the way. Love Hawkins Field, but there is freaking no sunshine coming in, so you're freezing your ass off for solid 4 hours. Patrick Riley came in the first night of the game, and I think it was the fifth inning or something. And by that point, I'm shaking, holding the camera because I'm sitting here trying to make sure I'm not going to die of hypothermia. And I have the whistler behind me pissing me off because he's just so annoying. But no, that's probably the coldest. It was probably 35 degrees the whole night, and the next days weren't better either. So
no. When I was at Nevada, we had a snow game for one of the first games of the year, and I was in the press box, so I didn't care. But I was like, this is a good time. They look miserable out there, but that leads me to another question I have. As people can notice, we don't have really anything to talk about because we're coming out of the holidays, so we're just gonna ramble for about 15 minutes just for fun because you like our voices, and so that's what we're doing. Best stadium you've caught a game at?
Wrigley Field.
College Wrigley game, Field. Though, is what I was thinking.
Oh, college game?
Wrigley's beautiful, though. Love that place.
Wrigley's amazing. For what it's worth, Jared, I think this is the first time you've heard this. I have never attended a Major League game, but I visited Wrigley. I visited Trop, and I'm probably going to be adding Globe Life to the tally this year. So, just casually been to 3 stadiums before seeing a game.
Yeah. Gotta love it. Will we watch the Futures game at Globe Life if you go for the draft?
Oh, I'm down.
Yeah. I can imagine we could get credentialed or something for that.
Hey, MLB, listen to the podcast. Help us out, please.
Yeah, we like prospects.
Help us out, please. Throw us a bone, please.
I still think the best college stadium I've been to, and I'm not, maybe because I cover most of the games there, but Maryland, it's such a small stadium. It's fun. I like it for a coverage standpoint because you can literally get behind home plate real close, get good video, get to actually get a good look at these guys. So that'd probably be my favorite stadium to go to in terms of like analyzing and scouting players. But I'm trying to think of like when we were in the Mountain West Conference at Nevada, there wasn't like a stadium that stuck out. We were playing like Hawaii and UNLV. UNLV stadium was pretty cool, but you didn't get the same kind of vibe that you would get from like an ACC stadium or an SEC stadium.
Well, you act like the ACC has good stadiums when NC State has a league ballpark or like a little league ballpark, essentially.
Yeah.
No offense, NC State, by the way. You just really need to upgrade your field badly.
Get more players. Get an upgrade.
Okay. They have a really good crop of freshmen.
No, I'm saying getting like a new stadium will help them get more players. Better players.
Yeah, no. Like they need to do what they did with the like Carter Finley, have it up by the Canes place, you know.
Yeah.
That whole place is wide open and it's easy travel. Like Hillsborough Street in downtown Raleigh is hell.
Yeah.
Just trying to get the games.
Two worst stadiums I've been to, Mexico State. Oof, that place was real bad. The sorority and fraternity houses are like right across the street. And they had big holes and divots all throughout the field that players, like they kept warning players before the games, like, get a watch here. And our fielder's like, well, we have to track down a ball. I don't think I'm going to be looking for this hole.
So they're playing on a golf course is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, basically. And George Mason, that one was not good. Not great. Went there to see Tyler Locklear when VCU came into town. Not a great vantage point to get video because the stands are so far away from the field. There's like a huge 10-foot gap between like the stands and the actual field. Terrible place. No, probably won't ever go to George Mason to watch a game again.
No offense, people of George Mason.
Yeah, great school.
We will never forget that Final Four run for 2006 in the men's basketball tournament.
Oh, yeah. There was actually a men's basketball game going on that day when I went to see Locklear, and I ran into traffic. So then I didn't like Mason even more because I was stuck in traffic for a basketball game.
No, here's the thing. If you want to talk about bad basketball traffic, UNC.
Yeah, it can't be good. That's
no
offense
to UNC. Like I have no issue with UNC whatsoever, even as a state fan. They're actually the nicest like college stadium I've been to because, like, I think my only like knack against them would probably be it's not as easy to access behind home plate because it's not necessarily that they don't have a certified scouting section, but where they have like the TrackMan guy down there by the base of the railing behind home plate, it kind of makes it tough to get behind home plate footage. But like concourse is wide open, don't have to move around often. Like the vantage points for open side are super easy to get to, especially if you have a media pass. It's really, really easy to get to. There's no issues whatsoever. I really like the Bosch. Even if like there was something that I wanted to hate on it, I can't find anything about it really. Maybe the field hockey stadium being like kind of cut into the outfield a little bit, but even then, like it's kind of like a nice little quirk to have out there.
Yeah.
Second one would probably be like probably not the DBAP. Because I know Duke's like actual on-campus stadium I've heard is not necessarily all that great, but I've never been, so I can't really like say anything on it. But if I had to say a second one, probably the Couch, Wake Forest. They're easy to move around. The base down there behind home plate's very wide open, so you have free range to kind of move around and do whatever. Vantage points for cameras, very easy.
Yeah.
Two teams NC State. Sorry guys, like
throwing them under the bus again twice in one podcast. Gotta love it.
That's the same complaint. Is it really doing it twice?
But you had to bring it up twice. You're like, I just got to reiterate how terrible their stadium is.
They've made improvements. I'll give them that. I like the new bullpens in the outfield. But getting footage is a big pain. Granted, the Jake Geloff bat slam was an easy one to get because the open sides, I can just put them on like the railings going down up and down stairs, and it's easy. Getting footage of pitching behind home plate is one of the toughest things to do in the ACC. There's really not much space back there. Like I feel like I have to be in the press box to get good vantage points of, like head on, like seeing the footage because they don't. I don't know if it's because it's too small of a
Yeah.
space, but there's not really a designated scout section. The fans kind of creep in with you. There's only like 8 rows of seats kind of going up, and it's maybe like 20 feet wide. And if you want to try and get down to like the front row, you got to hope and pray that the families that are reserved down there just don't show up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
That's why you got to
that's
come
the
to
only way.
Maryland, even though it's not ACC. You just come like as long as you beat the scouts there, like you get there as soon as gates open, you have like a perfect spot.
Oh yeah, no. If it was like 2020 all over again, where I didn't have to deal with fans, the vantage point for states pitching would be fantastic.
Yeah.
But I struggle with the fact that I have to put it on the back of a chair and just hope the guy in front of me doesn't stand up mid pitch.
That's
So
the thing
that's
at
kind of
Maryland
like
is I have to hold it because they don't have backs of chairs at Maryland. It's just like
I
all
keep forgetting
benches.
because they left the ACC for the Big Ten and lost all that money. They couldn't get backrest for chairs.
Is that what it is?
I don't know.
I mean, they have USC and UCLA coming to the Big Ten now, so I imagine there's going to be some money in that.
Oh, I cannot wait for the 6 a.m. like USC Rutgers game.
You mean the Rutgers versus UCLA in Dallas, Texas?
No, that's the ACC because we have SMU now. Thank you
Oh,
very
that's
much.
right. Well, I thought they were
Um,
going to do like neutral sites, middle of the country, hot state.
no. As far as I'm aware, they're going straight across the country.
That's
um,
it just kind of I'm gonna go on a little rant because it kind of sucks because the Pac-12 was a fun baseball conference for such a
yes.
long time. Especially when Arizona State and U of A were really good. You got Oregon State's of course a powerhouse. I mean, it's just gonna kind of suck to break out. USC's kind of not been great at baseball for a little bit, but UCLA's been good. And like you're taking all those teams, and Washington has developed a program that's good now. I don't know. It just kind of sucks that you're not going to have those guys in there anymore.
Yeah, no, it sucks that football kind of killed that whole conference.
Yeah.
What
All the
sucks
Mountain
is
West
like,
teams are going to move to the Pac-12. It's basically what's going to
yeah,
happen.
the Mountain 12.
Yeah. You're going to
No,
get Boise State, Nevada, San Diego State. They're all just going to become Pac-12 schools.
yeah. No, I'm trying to think like Oregon State would probably have to go independent now because
Yeah.
I don't think they've really done anything on the baseball front in terms of joining like the Mountain West, joining them, or I think they'll probably end up going independent because
Yeah.
that program is just way too good to really leave in that kind of a conference at this point.
Yeah.
And there's nothing they can do because it's football driven. And what's weird is like Oregon State was good at football this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before they lost their coach, and then the guy from Clemson, I think he's gone to Florida State now.
Is he?
He's gone from Clemson to Oregon State, and then now he's to Florida State. So I'm like, the college is just weird now at this point.
Yeah.
But I think that's just besides the point of what we're really kind of talking about. We're on a big tangent here.
Well, there was that one random. Sorry, I was going to mention there was that one random year that Boise State had a baseball team right before the pandemic, and then now they no longer have a baseball team again.
Throwback to when Iowa State had a baseball team in like 2001.
Yeah, bring them back. Hey, teams need a conference, so just throw them on in.
Here's a program that needs to get, or like a school that needs a baseball program. Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
Wisconsin would have so many good in-state recruits because that state is just underrated in the Midwest. With like JD Dix is a really good Wisconsin kid. Connor Prelip came from Wisconsin and went to Alabama. Like, come on, guys, Wisconsin, you're really doing a disservice to the Big Ten because they would be contenders probably immediately.
Yeah. I mean, I think about a school like Grand Canyon University in Arizona. They were like, oh, Arizona's a big baseball state. We're going to throw all our money into the baseball program. And now they're a decent mid-major baseball team.
Oh, yeah. And now, Jacob Wilson, first round pick.
Yep.
Like, first round pick now.
And they had Homer Bush
another
Jr.
guy this year. Yeah, there's another one this year that's really good. Nick York's brother is down there now, I think.
Yep.
I could be mistaken. I think it's Nick York's brother. So yeah, Wisconsin, pick up the pace, please.
Yeah, good times.
Yeah. Anyways, back on topic. Second worst stadium might shock you a little bit. Lindsey Nelson. I'm sorry. It's a great environment in Knoxville. I know they're upgrading the stadium this year, so I'm hoping there's a little bit of change when I go up there in April. But just from the past, like the scouting section's like right above the press box, or like right below it, one or the two. They fit you into the fans, and I remember when I went there the first time, we had a guy like screaming into my camera the whole weekend, and he was drunk for maybe about 90% of that. So whenever I posted like the Kumar, the Jack Leiter, the Carter Young film on YouTube, all the comments were like, "That guy is never gonna shut up, is he?" Or something down that line. And then like getting down there to shoot video from where I had been the past couple years, it's on a railing on a staircase. So it's not easy really to move around. There's no like really good like dead on angle because they keep the table for the TrackMan like right underneath the perfect point to kind of get video, and then they have the little diamond club behind it. It's a high traffic area. It just sucks, and the dare I say it, the stands are way too slanted for me to kind of like get a really good like open side area. I'm hoping that changes this year with what they've done. Maybe I'll start tweaking with like maybe putting a camera in center field, but I really value a ballpark that provides a good camera setup. So that's just where I'm at. Like if it's the DBAP or like the couch, those are really good spots. The Bosch as well, like those are all very good spots for cameras. South Carolina's not bad, but it's also not the best. But I've had good filming locations there. So yeah, like USA's ballpark too, like behind no plate kind of sucks, but open side is probably some of the best like vantage points I've had so far. So
Love it. So now that everybody's had an opportunity to hear us rant about the holidays, how much we like and dislike their stadiums, we do have an actual incredible interview for you all today with Griffin Herring, left-handed pitcher from Louisiana State University, pitched in the College World Series. He goes into depth about some of his pitch mix, talks about his experience pitching in the College World Series, playing for Jay Johnson, and all those fun things. So instead of having us rant more about stadiums we hate and telling teams how they could fix their stadiums and make our jobs easier, we're going to let you watch an interview. All righty, we have another awesome interview here for On the Clock. We got Griffin Herring, left-handed pitcher with Louisiana State University. Pitched last year in Omaha, had a pretty good season. Griffin, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Doing good.
We're excited to have you on. So the first question that we always ask our guests, just because a lot of people might not know who you are, give a little bit of background on yourself, kind of how you've developed through your amateur career and some of the things that you really love to do outside of the game as well.
As far as my career goes, pretty much started, I think, where most people start, T-ball, like 6 years old. Kind of got into select really early, like pretty much played 1 year of rec and then was straight into it. Just kind of played the usual summer circuit, WWBA, all that. And then when I got into high school, I went to South Lake Carroll. It's just in between Dallas and Fort Worth. Had a good time there. Won a couple championships, so that was really cool. Made a ton of really great friends. Outside of baseball, I like to cook. Picked that up during like COVID. Was kind of trying to get more serious about baseball, really get into all the meal prep and everything, and figured at least, I mean, I like to eat, might as well make it taste good. Tired of like some bland ground beef and rice or whatever, so kind of started to watch a lot of YouTube videos and stuff like that. I like to fish. I haven't been as much. Kind of same thing with golf. Like once we get farther into the season, it's like I can't really do it as much. But summertime, definitely like to do that. And I recently got a dog, so she's actually sitting right here with me.
Very cool. What kind of dog?
Miniature dachshund.
Nice. Is it a puppy or did you get a kind of adult age?
She's about 3, 4 months old, so she's
Okay,
still pretty
nice.
pretty puppy.
I love that. I love that. It sounds like you have a bunch of passions that kind of get you away from the game. Before I turn it over to Tyler, I was going to ask you some questions about your game and things like that. I got to ask, what's the go-to meal you like to cook?
The thing I'm the best at is definitely steak. I've got like I remember I think it was like my 17th birthday. Maybe I asked for a sous vide. So I got
Nice.
the full kit. So I'll sous vide them and then throw them on the grill. Pretty good.
Love it. Love it. Tyler, I'll turn it over to you.
Oh, I mean, are we talking about the golf game or the baseball game? Which one?
Whichever one you want to go
I think I'd probably rather talk about baseball.
with.
No, I mean, for what it's worth, I golf pretty avidly as well. So, but no, going on with like the baseball stuff, because I remember watching you PG National in Tampa a couple years ago, and then I get to saw you against South Carolina this year. Because if I remember correctly, you pitched in the first game of what was supposed to be a doubleheader. Just like kind of go over what this season was like, because I know you gave some velocity. The slider's really, really good. And then of course you get to Omaha and you pitched against Wake. Kind of just tell me about that experience as well.
I would kind of define the year as relatively good. Definitely had some ups and downs. Had some outings that I wish I could take back, but I learned a ton. I learned a lot about kind of the mental side of the game. That talent, like the talent, really is like the jumps. Obviously, guys are much better in college, much better in certain places, Omaha and whatnot. But like the talent gap isn't as big as the mental gap. So early on, just kind of had to figure that out. And Coach Johnson did a great job. Let me throw some midweeks, kind of get my confidence. And then kind of it all culminated in Omaha. Got to stay out there a little bit longer than usual. Longest outing by a decent margin of the year. And I really I don't know if people really understand this, but like Omaha was not as nerve-wracking as the box was. Like those first couple times I pitched in big SEC games. It's not as like up on you. And like even though there's like double the fans, it's really not as loud. I pitched against Tennessee and we had pretty much a packed house. I closed the last 2 innings, and I would say that was probably a decent bit louder. So I think that playing at LSU really, really kind of helps sharpen you into a player that's ready for those kind of moments.
No, 100%. I mean, the SEC, just from my experience, the crowd level is insane.
Yeah.
Knoxville was incredibly loud each time I've gone there. South Carolina this year, when you guys were there, was probably the loudest I've ever experienced a crowd. Which granted, like the ACC is kind of like the loudest you'll have it all year is probably the tournament in Durham or Charlotte. But I mean, the SEC is just on a different level.
It's pretty unreal. Our fans are kind of the best in the business.
Tyler and I were talking about it before the podcast. I used to do baseball operations at the University of Nevada, and we went to Arkansas for like a midweek game, and there was 5,000 people still there, like, and it was pouring rain for a midweek game, and we were like, we get like 10 people to show up to the University of Nevada for a baseball game, so it was just kind of nuts for the guys to have to transition to that.
Yeah, no, it's a really cool environment. I'm really excited to go on some of our away games this year. I know Knoxville, Fayetteville, gonna be intense, gonna be fun.
Yeah, you talked about a little bit for the upcoming season. What are you most looking forward to in the 2024 season? What'd you work on this fall to kind of get you prepared for the upcoming college season?
I mean, I would say I'm just looking forward to a fresh start. Obviously, like our team is vastly different. We don't have Paul Skenes and Dylan Cruz, but I think that as a whole, our depth really hasn't changed all that much. I think we've still got. I think our staff is unbelievable. I mean, just watching some of these guys pitch in the fall, transfers, guys that even were like redshirted, one of my good friends, DJ Primo. I mean, comes out lefty throwing 95, and he was redshirted last year. Like, I mean, you don't see that a lot of places. But I'm really excited about this year.
I did want to ask one question because you bring up Cruz and Skenes. Did you have any like trying to think of like the best way to put it, but like any good interactions with them or any like tips that you learned from them specifically, especially with Paul, considering that you shared the same bullpen?
I definitely use Paul as a resource. Like early on in the season, last fall, I didn't perform that great, and I think that a lot of it was kind of I just didn't have the right mentality, and so I just would go to Paul and ask him like what are you doing before games? How do you get your mind right? How do you find confidence? Those kind of things. And from Dylan, I wasn't with him as much, but I mean, you can just like you go up to the facility on a Sunday off, like I mean, you're probably going to see him. Like he just he's such a good dude and like such a nice dude too that like he's just a guy that you want to follow after. And that's
Yeah.
I think just about anybody would tell you that.
Yeah, I love it. The other question I was going to ask, kind of building off of Tyler's, there is we all know Coach Jay Johnson's just like a big, huge players coach. He came into Nevada after I had left, and all the players just said it was a complete like 180 turnaround of the program when he was there. Talk about your experience. What has it been like playing for Coach Johnson and kind of using his mentorship to help you as well?
I don't think there's a better coach to play for in the country, honestly.
Yeah.
Coach Johnson, like he really truly cares about each and every one of us, and he's so determined to win. Like if you asked him, probably he would say that he thinks that we should go 70-0 every year. Like that's how confident he is, and it's not arrogance. It's just he's just a winner. Like that's just what it is. And I think that kind of the messages that he conveys to us and the way he goes about his business, it really rubs off on guys, and definitely has rubbed off on me.
Yeah, I love that. Tyler, I turned it over to you before I kind of dive into the last couple questions.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Kind of like last question. This is more of like a pitch perspective, kind of. But with that slider, the one part I remember about it was like 84, 85 last year when I saw you at South Carolina. Felt like it was a really, really good pitch. Do you kind of want to, you mind just diving into that a little bit more? Because I know not all pitchers have that kind of slider from the left side. So like is there any like specific thing that you do with the slider that kind of lets it, snap harder or get you a little bit more sweep that really makes it play up from what it is?
I think I don't really know, but I would say a lot of it is just the intensity and the confidence that I have in it. I've been using this grip since junior year of high school. Kind of just felt really easy to me. I picked it up like in the bullpen before a game and just like started throwing it. It's a lot more gyro. It's like on the TrackMan, like you look at it and it'll be like 0-0, which I think kind of helps me to throw it a little bit faster. I have added some sweep to it kind of in the off season, so now it's a little bit more that like 0-7, 0-10, getting some more sweep while kind of maintaining the velocity. I guess it's just the pitch I feel the most confident in, and I just try to really keep my wrist stiff, and just kind of comes naturally. I don't want to sound like I don't know. I don't want to sound arrogant or anything, but it's just that's always been my pitch.
No, I got you. And there's, I mean, hey, however explain whatever works best, Was there any velocity jump from last year? Because I know you were low 90s. Is there anything like 94, 95 this fall, or kind of just about the same?
There was a couple 95s, a good amount of 94s. So I would say as a whole, velocity definitely has gone up. Kind of looking to sit more in that like 3 to 4 range this year. Try to maintain that. in whatever role it is that I'm gonna have, and then kind of keep that slider in that 85, 86 range. I think with some adrenaline, kind of once we get into the season, might be able to see it go a little bit higher. Put on about 10 pounds, so I feel good about the velocity going into this season.
Perfect. And what was it? Is the SEC season opener? Is that Mississippi State? Is that at Doobie Noble, or is that at the box?
Yes,
I can't remember.
We'll be at Mississippi State.
That'll be a good environment. I know those guys would rock every single year.
Definitely right out the gate too. I would imagine as long as it's not 40 degrees and windy, it'll be pretty packed.
Oh, if it's 40 and windy.
But
the last question I was going to ask you is there some guys in the SEC you're looking forward to facing most this year, or just kind of broadly just excited to get going?
My mom is from Nashville, and a bunch of her family grew up Tennessee fans, and they kind of live in Tennessee. So I'm gonna have to find a way to scrap together about 40 tickets from my teammates for that one.
Yeah.
So I think being able to see a lot of my family there will be cool, and obviously that's a fun environment to play in. And Arkansas, my high school is it's like a feeder to Arkansas. I got a lot of friends at Arkansas, so I think that'll be cool to see them there too.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, Griffin, we can't thank you enough for taking the time to join us. We're really excited to watch you this season and LSU and everything you all are going to do down there. So wishing you nothing but the best and good luck this year.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.